Yo, we back again. It's the old heads. I'm King Bear Sadat. I'm here with Mac Attack. We're here to talk a little bit more about, sort of everything that we want to talk about. You know, this is a free form where we just get in and just have a little conversation about whatever it is we want to talk about. We were talking about back in the day, you know, and the odd and the Buffalo Braves and how the Buffalo Braves ultimately ended up leaving and became the Los Angeles Clippers. Right. Just we were talking about, you know, when I was telling that story about Bob McAdoo walking, saying he was gonna walk. I was 5 years old, so I was naive. I didn't realize that wasn't really gonna happen. But you were talking about when you were there, you was about 11 years old. So you were just talking about being there and watching games back at the All back in the day.
It was a fantastic situation, man, to watch those games. The tickets was only $3, so it wasn't no problem to go to the games, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But we shouldn't have never lost the Buffalo Braves. You know, we didn't have nobody to fight for the Braves like they fought for the Buffalo Bills, you know, to stay here in Buffalo,
right.
You know. We needed Schumer then. We needed him then.
Right.
You
well,
know.
One of the things that happened, they was talking about, I think it was it Seymour Knox who owned them? I forget who owned them back in the day. But he owned the Sabres and he owned the Braves. Or maybe no, somebody else owned the Braves, and he couldn't get
Snyder.
He couldn't get Sunday games. That's what it was. And the NBA wanted him to have Sunday games. Also, the NBA wasn't what it is now, or even what it was when Magic and Bird came in. When they got in the league in '83, now all of a sudden the NBA skyrocketed into incredible popularity. I mean, heck, people don't even realize that back in the day. We talk about football. Football wasn't even popular till the 50s, you know. Before that, it was all college football was the major stuff. Mm-hmm. And the same thing with basketball. Like back in the day, what's the other tournament called? Not the NIT.
The NIT.
Back in the day, NIT was the biggest tournament.
Right.
But you were just talking about the odd and like how we lost him. I think that the one he had to make a decision which way he was going to go. I love the Sabres, but you know I would have loved to have had an NBA game, an NBA team here, and losing them was a shame.
It's a shame, man. You know they kept the Sabres. You know.
Right.
But I wish they could have kept the Braves too.
Yeah, that was really good. Definitely being able to go down and watch the games. I got to see a bunch of games. Well, a couple games from the Braves, but I got to see a couple Sabres games, concerts. I remember we were younger. We all had gone to go see that underwater boogie concert. Remember we were up in there?
Parliament.
Man, it must have been 30 of us in the family. I think my father somehow through some connection, he utilized every opportunity to get as many tickets as he could there.
All right.
And I remember going to that concert being like, how are they gonna have the concert underwater? But they had fools up in there with umbrellas and stuff, and they had water shooting out all over. I remember it must have been, I remember all your sisters and George and all of them and the whole family. And everybody who was, that's my pops, and it must have been in their 30s. But everybody in that generation and kids, we were all there, man. The all used to be something. Right. It used to be a good time.
The all was like being at home watching, TV.
Man.
You know what I mean? It was fantastic, man. You know, it's a great place, Memorial Auditorium.
Yeah, that was a good thing, but it's kind of scary, though, with them oranges. Man, them orange levels, those seats used to look like they were coming, boy.
Yeah, you got hockey, you got basketball, you got concerts, you got all kind of things going on in the odds, you know.
Yeah, that was great.
It was a great place.
But
really great.
Yeah, man, back in the day, it's funny how they're changing the development down there in Waterfront, how many things are beautiful down there. But it's really wild, though, that they talk about how, you know, whether it be the destruction of the parkway on Humboldt Parkway that used to look as good as Bidwell and all that other stuff, Chapin and all that stuff, going to Delaware Park, that we had that same parkway going down to Humboldt down to Humboldt Park, which is not MLK Park, but going all the way down the 33 tore that out, or then the idea that with the advent of the 190, how that's like cutting off the city from the water or the Skyway, but now they're trying to make some more development down there and take advantage of this lush land and lush property. Have you been out to the water areas over near off of Ridge Road, over on the other side of Tiff Farms?
Yes.
Have you been over there lately?
Yeah, I have, and it's interesting.
It's beautiful over there now. They actually have a whole thing where you can take they have a little ferry where you can get on a bike and take the ferry over and just bike over there. But they were even talking about how they're going to redevelop the other side of where the Naval Park is, or the other side of Naval Park where the Coast Guard base and all that stuff, because it doesn't look as appealing. They're going to try to make all that stuff better. But just amazing how Buffalo's changed over the years, man.
And it's a change for the better. It's a change for the better. It needs a change. It needs.
It'd be nice if more of us had more of the wealth in Buffalo. But if you look at big cities like Atlanta, Houston, LA, where black populations are actually doing things. But I think a lot of it has to do with the economic base. I mean, I think the economic base is political power. Theodore Kirkland, who was on here last week, we were talking about how black folks think that because somebody's black in the office that they're representing them, and they're not really a leader. But the reality is that I believe that the downfall of the black community in Buffalo has been the loss of jobs. I mean, heck, your father worked for Chevy, right?
Right.
And
right.
My grandmother worked for Trico, and just it's amazing how that one job made a family for your whole family. Or my grandmother's one job had her have a house and a family for all of us, and that how I was talking to a friend of mine who's an economics professor, or actually an economic PhD. I think he's a PhD in econ, but he was just talking about how the power of jobs, and you really don't think about like the power of a job, that from jobs become homeowners, from homeowners become people who care about their neighborhoods, people taking care of their yards, people caring about what their kids are doing, people caring about it's just wild to see how as much as Buffalo is developing, the black community is not developing, but the blame really lies on us.
It really does. We got to bring up our kids a lot better than what we're doing. Our parents were great with us, but nowadays, you got the drugs out here, and you got crack babies. You know what I mean? And they're acting like it. They're acting like the test tube babies.
The thing that's crazy now is the crack babies are the mamas now.
Ain't that something?
You know what I'm saying? So I remember I always talk about jokes and comedians, but you just Chris Rock was talking about if you call your grandmother Ma and your mother Pam, you go into jail.
Yeah,
but we're talking about like our parents, man. Your father always looked up to him. He was deacon at the church, headed the deacon board, Uncle Frank, and he was the baby of the bunch of his siblings.
Yeah, but he also installed in me that you talk to people by their first name. You call them by their first name. If their name is Bill, you call them Bill. Right. You know what I mean? You don't you can't be disrespectful out here.
Right.
Yeah,
man. It's a trip. Just that old school learning. A lot of times we talk about we were raised, but these kids nowadays just grew up.
Yeah.
I would trip off of like the idea that kids have their own radio stations now. They got Disney Radio and they got DVDs in the back seats of consoles in the cars, and kids watching DVD so that you can entertain the kids. I mean, what happened to sit down and shut up?
Yeah.
We was little. Man, remember, like I know all the stuff from the Temptations and the Spinners and Isley Brothers because we had to listen to what they was listening to.
Right.
It wasn't can you put on some cartoons? When I go over to the family's house and the kids got to have their own little TV, man. I mean, back in the day, the rule was children are to be seen and not heard.
Not heard. Well, see, kids are so independent now, man. They just, me. It's all about me. It's all about me.
Man.
They're not team oriented. They're not, it's just all about me.
Well, it's funny because they talk about like little kids playing in little video games and stuff like that. That how they're missing certain bits of development, like discovery, like little kids, like just knowing that their toes are at the bottom of their feet and discovering like that length of their feet, and stuff like that, or like that's that far away, or being able to play with something and like this ball is soft, or learning like just the things that a human being needs to learn. That as much as technology is increasing our knowledge, there's some basic things of spatial learning and just creativity or imagination. Remember you used to go out and play with some rocks and sticks in the mud and stuff?
That's creating. You're creating your own fun. You don't have digital, you don't have MP3 players or anything like that to watch and stay in the house. And, we want to go outside. We didn't want to stay in the house.
Man, remember you used to the bag of army men with 100 army men in
Right.
it, and you
Right.
set them up on, you got a whole little war you got going on because you got your mind is working
Yes.
and you're imagining. But
Yes.
man, we got to find a way to get back to the kids, and there's some things that we've lost. Even though we keep taking steps forward, there's certain things that we're missing, some basic things in the family unit, in the basic of just being human beings. And it's our own fault, and we really got to figure out a way to make a difference and make a change. I mean, I know a lot of parents are out there working hard, doing the best they can, and,
Right.
and God bless you,
Right.
parents,
Right.
families,
Right.
single moms, single dads,
Right.
whatever you're going through. I know you're doing your best, but I'm just saying that we can even do better. Anyway, this has been the Old Heads. We're going to take another break here. I'm King Bear Sadat. I'm here with Mac Attack. Thank you for joining us. We'll be back in a minute.
We switched up. We switched up on them that time.